Magnus Klofsten is representing the Academy. He is a professor and founding director of the Center of Innovation and Entrepreneurship at Linköping University. And Magnus Klofsten is also the author of The Theory and Much Used Tool of the Business Platform. Welcome.
Thanks very much. A little bit about myself. I have a 25-year academic career behind me, and as you know, you do research and teaching, of course, but I have also an academic that have taken this external mission for seriously and been very involved in startup programs and growth programs and networking activities, and of course worked very much with Sten-Gunnar over the years also. Sten-Gunnar asked me for a while that, Magnus, can't you take out one success factor? It's not just one success factor, but one success factor to discuss here that creates value for Science Park. And I have chosen one, and I think a couple of you before me have taken this up, and that is the critical mass. Not mess, critical mass of things. And what is that? It's a little bit of fuzzy concept, you know, because you can't exactly not define it. But it has to do with vitality, it has to do with exchange of idea, resources, etc., and also blood circulation or circulation of people. And over the years also, I have been involved in different research projects looking at incubators and science parks and also cluster initiatives. And just recently we published a paper about success factors in cluster initiatives, and that is organized way of take advantage of the positive aspects of a cluster. And I think the Mjärdevi Science Park, for instance, and all type of science park you have are actually some kind of cluster organizations or initiatives dealing with members, etc. And I couldn't resist taking out some quotes from our interviews. We have been studying at least 10 case studies in Sweden. We have done an international survey of 135 initiatives. And maybe the critical mass success factor could be linked to at least these three quotes. The first one is related to it's no optimal size of a network, really. It has to do with what's happening, what you do. And I would describe that visually with three levels of networking. First of all, you have a core of people, for instance, Sten-Gunnar and his staff, managing a science park. Yeah? Then you have a next level is the members that are very active for the moment, you know, taking part in activities, coming to the lunch meetings or whatever it is you do, you know, very active, and they feel a value of what you're doing for the moment. And then you have the big majority of members, you know, they are here, they are hang-arounds, and sometimes they jump into this second level also because they have a real need to deal with in a particular time. So I think the critical mass is very much of a momentum, you know, happening, and it could be 30 firms for a particular moment. It could be also larger or smaller than that, you know. Another thing is also that it's about different type of people, young one, old one, that they can meet and exchange ideas, etc., etc. And also, of course, the size of the companies. We, for example, from Uppsala Bio, we have got this quote, you know, the biotechnology industry is very dominated by large firms, but you have also small and also combined different sizes of firms, you know, at arenas are very important in this critical mass aspect, you know. I think as a leader of a science park, you are a node, but you're also an entrepreneur. I think that's very important when you're running networks and things where you're going to provide service for members, that you are an entrepreneur. You are a fire soul, and very important function. And what are these functions doing? Well, you create informal and formal networks, of course. You create engagement and openness between members. Very important when you when you try to validate ideas and so on. Of course, inflow of people with different backgrounds, skills, and experience. I was the one who pressed talent on the first question. I think this is very, very important when you're running a science park. Richard Florida has us bring the people in; they will create the innovation, and not the opposite. So people. That's what we're talking about when we are looking at the critical mass function. Creating learning and development arenas. That could be simple things as breakfast meetings or lunch meetings, whatever it is, But also sometimes you need something more, where you're actually developing firms in a particular stage of development, and you should try to find the real needs of the entrepreneurs and bring them together and do things, And of course, a different type of hard and soft resources, And the science park is not just, a hotel for companies, Maybe sometimes the soft skills or the soft issues of the science park is very, very critical, And I remember I've been quite many years in this business and looking at this issue, and we go back to the 80s. Maybe it was an issue about renting out facilities more than promoting firms, Together it's not about that. It's about developing entrepreneurship and innovation. I can't resist showing a very recent, very simple model of success factors in cluster initiatives, which is very related to the science park issue, I think. And of course, here we see that the critical mass is one of the 5 we have to deal with. I would say that you can't neglect the driving force and commitment issue, and that science parks are driven by a team of entrepreneurs. And you can't be dependent on one person, You have to try to find a group of people that can develop things, be engaged in networking, etc., etc. And that is a critical thing, especially when you're creating a network, They survive for 3 years, then the fire soul leaves, and the network is gone. So you have to be very careful in the long-term process, So, but that is not good enough, You need to have an idea behind. And it's very easy that you're driving away or drifting away from your idea. I know that Mjärdevi has been in that situation for many, many years, where you have a lot of empty space, and what are you going to do with the science park? I mean, stick to the idea, and it's a long-term process, because the firms there, the entrepreneurs are there for a specific reason, and the image of the science park is very, very important, Of course, you need activities, different types of activities related to the real needs of the entrepreneurs, and that is found through very close interaction with the members, And if you can't fulfill the real needs of the entrepreneurs, you have problem, of course, to reaching the critical mass. And of course, an organization that takes care of all this, in terms of everything from a homepage to project teams and etc. And normally I would say that Swedish science parks and incubators and also cluster initiatives are very small in the size of the inner circle. I mean, I think we found that 2 to 3 people, up to 5 people maybe, is the size. Maybe sometimes if you go abroad, for instance, to China or maybe also to UK, you can find science parks that have 40, 50 people in the administration. And that is not really the case here in Sweden. So I'm very happy to say that I think this is Sten Gunnar's day, and he has been a science park director for almost 30 years, and I can congratulate you, Sten Gunnar, to a very, very good job, and also that you have really been the driving force and the entrepreneur behind Mjärdevi. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Magnus. Just for clarification, your success factors model, is it evidence-based?
Yes. Of course, you can,
Yes, I would
get it from me.
guess. Yes, thank you. So interesting. I think you also clarified an X factor, the critical mass issue there. Of course, it's difficult to decide when the tipping point is. When are you big enough or too big, and who decides on what factors should be taken into consideration? Food for thought.